Hello. It is me again, back. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, guess who's back? Back again. James is back. Warn your friends. Yeah, yeah. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? I remember when Eminem was cool. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, I still like some of the songs, but he's just not cool anymore. Sad, really. So, what am I doing? Well, I am still looking for that missing figure. Haven't found it. It is making me insane. I woke up last night in the middle of the night dreaming about it. See, that's the problem when you're. I don't know what the personality type is, but basically. Well, hold on. Did I tell this to. Let's go to edit channels. Okay, yeah. So I am streaming on the YouTubes. But yeah, I don't know what personality trait it is, but I guess obsessive. I can get a little obsessive occasionally about things. And the thing is I can easily just buy another one of those figures. It's not like, you know, they're very expensive. I mean, it's a Reaper figure, you know, but it's just the knowing that it's somewhere around here, but I don't know where it is. That's the thing that really gets me. That's the thing, you know, because it's just like, ugh, how could I have lost it? And I'm pretty sure what's happened is while I was moving stuff around because it was magnetized, it probably stuck to the bottom of another magnetized miniature and got moved into somewhere. Hey, how you doing, James Lowry? I'm willing. I would bet pretty much anything that I moved it. So, so it'll show up eventually. I just need to quit thinking about it. That's all. You know, it's me and the pup home alone. Are we home alone, puppy? He's standing by the door staring out. I know because daddy's vacuum cleaner is in the way and you can't get to me. And that makes your pup sad, don't it? Little pup so sad. Oh. Uh, yeah, I've been cleaning everything in here, moving everything around, and he wants to get to me so bad, but he don't want to walk over any of the boxes of paint. I've got everything out on the ground so I can look at it. I've been vacuuming, like I said. There he is. There's my baby. Come here. I know. Mama went to get her nails done, and it's just the pup and daddy at home. I know. It'll be okay though. It'll be okay. I should I know what I'm gonna do real quick too. I've been watching this channel on YouTube that is absolutely, in my opinion, amazing. Uh I will try to find the name of it. But first, I'm gonna aggravate somebody because that's one of my favorite things to do. Honestly, is to aggravate people. Hey, left, hold on, I'm not on that screen right this second. That's right. Oh, I got my little pupper. Okay, click, 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 click. Okay, then do this click, then do this click, and then do this. Click, and then click, and then cancel, and then cancel, and then go to the YouTubes. Click on the YouTubes. See what's going on. Go to my history. History. Okay. Me. Okay. All right. The name of the channel is De Vermis Mysteris. So Latin. And all it is like short stories and lore videos about Call of Cthulhu stuff. He that would stir the pot must lick the spoon, or beat your children with the spoon. Because you could do that too. I mean, you haven't lived until you've, got whacked by a wooden spoon. Right, buddy? Right, buddy? Say, well, then he hasn't lived because he don't ever get beaten because he's such a good boy. Say, he's such a good boy. Say, see, you can, no, turn around. I want you to see. I want you to look at all the peoples. He's like, I don't really want to. He's like, I'm not feeling super comfortable with this. Come on, see? Oh, such a good boy. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Lathodus. Hello, Lathodus. How are you? I don't hear you, Leth, at all. Oh, there you are. Say, Leth is back again. It's the Leth. Tell your friends. Why do you look so sad? Don't look sad. Go be happy somewhere. Go eat some treats or drink some water or bark at something. So, what are you doing, man?
Getting my sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Getting the sandwich.
They
yeah.
Lunch by the time I jumped in here.
Bologna, mustard, Lay's potato chips, crush it all down.
Tuna fish for this time.
Oh, okay. Well, tuna fish sandwiches are good too.
Also,
tuna fish with tomato and pickles.
Yesterday's Double D stream was fun.
Yeah, I saw you guys. I was laying in the bed watching you guys yakking it up.
Got to talk about Condor.
Oh, what is Condor doing other things again?
Yeah. He wanted to talk about how he never forgives people. It makes him happy. And I'm like, yeah, this is cringy.
Oh, look at this guy.
Hungar.
What's up, guys?
Did you just wake up?
No. Yeah, kinda.
Are you in the hospital?
No. Yeah, kinda.
What?
What does that mean?
Whacked with a wooden spoon. He was laughing the whole time. Yeah. Experienced being whacked by a wooden spoon. Yeah. Yeah, it's like about everything, It's like in the right quantity, it can be a really good thing. But if you go overboard with it, it's called child abuse and you shouldn't do it.
I like to take it right to that line.
Liar. Your kids are so spoiled. And my kids, they're spoiled
To get right to the line of abuse.
because
one more
their Uncle Haas spoiled the shit out of them.
spank, and it would be uh uh our little hippie niece
Yeah.
sent me a picture of the family, her the husband and the baby.
Yeah.
I just got it in the mail today for Christmas. It's cute.
Yep. She has an adorable little baby.
Yeah, I've got pictures holding her.
And she's probably going to have another.
Yeah, she needs to have a dozen.
Yeah. She's one of those women that are like good at having babies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She had the baby at her house.
Yeah,
in
with
her bed with like
she had a midwife.
a midwife. So she didn't even go to the hospital or get drugs or anything. She's just like, let's do this thing. And did. And of course, her and her husband built her house because they're homesteading.
Hey, squirrel, hey, Bo.
Yeah. So they live like way out in the boonies. So every time they walk off out of the house, they're always armed to the teeth because, you know, snakes, bears, whatever. But yeah, that is an adorable little munchkin. But still haven't found that missing figure.
You're such a dirt.
I'm going to end up buying another one, I guess.
You're going to end up going crazy until you find it.
Oh, I've already been doing that for like the last 3-4 days. Yeah, that's already a thing. Now it's just trying to distract myself from my own,
Ugh.
lunacy. But yeah. What's funny is that channel, Divermus Mysterious, they talk about like occult books that exist within the world of Call of Cthulhu. But the way they present it is that all of the great old ones are actually real. And H.P. Lovecraft was like inspired through dreams by the great old ones.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that.
And I was cracking up though because they're talking about the Devil's Book or something. I was like, okay, what's this gonna be? It talks about this book that was written by this guy who got burned at the stake, and the book has 9 chapters that are called the 9 Gates, and it's written in Latin, but it's also got like woodcuts in it, and only 3 are known, and one of them said to be real and the other 2 are said to be counterfeits. And for some of you, none of this means anything, but I am a huge fan of the Johnny Depp movie, The Ninth Gate.
I knew that.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the book was specifically written by the devil, and the thing is, one of 2 things happen. If you do the rituals wrong, you die and go to hell. And if you do the ritual right, you get all kinds of power, but then you're also going to die and go to hell. So it's a no-win like bet, you know what I mean? It's a Faustian contract at the best. So, and right now I'm putting rocks on my Greyjoy troops. I'll have to paint them up and everything so that they look like they're running up a muddy, rocky coastline, because that's very much, House Greyjoy.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're not too difficult to paint, these figures, and they come pre-made already on the base. Like, you don't have to glue anything together. You don't have to build them. They're on 30 mil bases, which is weird. And the ranks are 4x3 instead of I'm so used to 5 for some reason. I think it's because Warhammer. But once you get used to it, it makes sense.
Well, if you play Custodes, you're used to 3.
Well, I mean, you're talking about when I played Custodes in what's it called? Kill Team.
If you play Custodes in regular Warhammer, you can still get away with 3.
Yeah, but in Kill Team, your whole damn army will be like 3 Custodes.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to play orcs.
Like 20 Imperial Guardsmen.
Yeah, I played orcs in Warhammer, and I had like 42 per unit.
Yeah, I was telling the story a while back when we played 2nd edition, the Gretchen that wouldn't die.
Yeah.
This Gretchen just kept killing Space Marines. It was like every time I charged the Gretchen with Space Marine, he'd end up killing them. And it's just like the dice should never roll this way, but
Came and named Gretchen in my army.
yeah, the unkillable Gretchen. But
And then I had my Snotling off of my flagpole.
yeah. Well, orcs do like their snotlings, don't they? Jeff, how you doing, man?
Hi, Jeff.
So, what is going on with everybody on this fine Friday?
Not much.
Is it Friday?
Yeah, it's Friday. I'm still waiting for Sunday.
Yeah, we might actually be gaming this Sunday.
Sunday. Pay for the whole seat, but you only use the edge.
Well, the sister-in-law and her fiance are coming down, and Jax and her fiance are coming over, and we're going to do a New Year's Eve thing. So we've already told people that are coming over that they can crash here if they want, in the spare bedrooms.
I feel that, buddy. I feel the
You're from surgery. Oh my goodness. I hope you're okay, man.
I've got to go up to the Kentucky.
Oh yeah,
for the new year and drive the Papa to Lexington for eye surgery.
Well, that's because you're a good boy.
Yeah, and I'm the best driver.
Well, you did it as a profession, so I would hope so. Yeah. Like, you actually went to school to do it. I mean, even though you're barely better than a Swift driver.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, me and Vic were talking about that because Vic was a truck driver, and I was like, well, it could have been a Swift guy, and he's like, swing wide, it's a fucking trailer or some shit.
Yeah, I always say Stevie Wonder Institute for Trucking.
Yeah. It was like those guys are notorious for just getting into wrecks and tearing shit up.
They have a Facebook page, and at the Swift terminals, they have signs that say, please stay off of the Swift Facebook, their Best of Swift Facebook page.
Right. The Best of Swift Facebook, which shows them with like trucks rolled over and
hanging off overpasses and stuff.
Yeah.
Almost as funny as that one time when I saw a military guy who crashed a boat on dry land.
Crashed a boat on dry land.
Yep.
I believe it's possible.
It was supposed to be transported.
On would like me to know that there's a bunch of free shit for me if I want it.
He was supposed to transport it to the, where it was supposed to go, and went to a bridge that was a little too short.
Yeah, I would say he was probably part of the Army Corps of Engineers who are stationed by E-Town.
Oh, I don't know if it was here. It was somewhere else, I think.
There's a bridge in Iowa that is notorious for truckers to just get stuck underneath. I see the Swift truck wreck hauling a load of ramen noodles and like fives of dollars were wasted.
$5.
I
Well, it
think
is
it was.
ramen noodles, so
I think it was funny seeing the one with the that one picture I showed you with the truck that was spilled over a whole bunch of D6s.
Yeah, it did like 523,000 points of damage.
Yep.
yeah. Fucking.
That's like 100,000 D6 damage.
So, what you guys been up to?
Took the old lady back to the truck last night.
I had to take her back to the terminal. Okay.
She had a delivery at 11 o'clock this morning in Kentucky.
Made
What?
fun of Mark Hamill and Condor TM last night.
Well, I saw that. Condor DM though. What is he doing now?
Again, he was mainly just going off how he really loves telling people he doesn't forgive them after they apologize to him.
So he'll never forgive his brother.
Yeah.
He'll never forgive me because I'll never apologize to him.
I mean, I watched Double D last night.
That's what we're talking about.
Yep,
like all these goofballs were on it.
Yeah.
And somebody tried to call him out for stolen valor when he was wearing a hat from a TV show.
Yeah, Double D getting upset because he was wearing that hat.
What hat?
It was a hat from a TV show, but it looks like a naval officer hat, kind of. And so he was like, "That's stolen valor," basically.
You know what is the most amazing thing about Condor?
He found a wife.
No, I seen a picture of his wife. She looked like an import.
He hasn't shut up anywhere yet because that's the vibe I get from him.
But his wife definitely was either Asian or native. And I mean, you were in Alaska. You know, it's not hard to get a native wife.
Jeff, I agree with you. He needs some professional help, like mobster help.
But anyway, now that my brother has completely derailed what I was saying, the weird thing about Hungar, well, the weird thing about Hungar, I guess this is true for Hungar too, but the weird thing about Condor DM is that he actually kind of has a fan club that will go around to people who talk shit about him and talk shit. And it's like, you know,
not the weirdest
like,
fan
how
club I've
did
seen.
that happen?
Pretty weird.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because he's so, like, just grating, you know? So it's like, how does this guy have fan clubs that just go around and talk shit?
I don't know.
But
Hey, Hungar, do you
because they
remember
do
the
it to
song
me.
that was in the background of that video?
No.
Oh God, it's like an upbeat poppy song from like I think either the late '90s or early 2000s. Oh man,
Yeah,
and it
that's
just
not
doesn't
the
even
one.
fit it doesn't even fit the mood that he was giving off.
I woke up this morning and the first song I listened to was "I Like the Way You Kiss Me" by Artemis.
What else, Steve?
And then the second song I listened to is "How I Could Just Kill a Man" by Cypress Hill.
First song I listened to was Erica. Well, you said that we're mostly Germanic, so I'm embracing my German roots.
Yeah, never be ashamed of your ancestors is what I always tell everybody. But hey, yeah, Bubba, good afternoon, you goobers. Eating goobers peas. That's an old Civil War song that the Confederates sang. And they called peanuts goober peas. And during parts of the war, they were so starving that all they had to eat was peanuts. boiled peanuts, and they wrote a whole damn song about it because, you know, if you're not writing a song about whatever the F is going on, you're not Southern.
You know what I love about Civil War?
What?
Right smack dab in the middle of it, America decided they needed a steak sauce.
Yeah.
I think it was like only a year or two after the Civil War ended that Yingling got started getting made.
But right in the middle of the Civil War, let's make some A1.
A1 steak sauce. It's the best time for steak sauce. Come on.
Right?
You got to flavor your food somehow.
But A1 is like, isn't it like a Heinz flavor or something? Or am I thinking something else?
You're thinking Heinz 57.
Yeah, because Heinz is Heinz 57. But if you read a bottle of Heinz ketchup, it's got a number. It's like Heinz, whatever the number was. So apparently every recipe that they had was numbered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, is like, well, it's cool, but it's also like, well, what about 56? Like, what does Heinz 56 taste like?
I want to try Heinz 69.
I think you already have. And that's why you get those sores on your lip all the time.
Fuck you, dude. That was good. I got to give you that. That was good, you bastard.
Yeah, that's happened to me like on Twitter where somebody insults me so hard that I can't even be mad.
It's just like, well played, sir. Well played.
Like I was talking shit to this one guy and he was trying to talk shit to me about guns or something. I was like, listen, dude, that's not the way they work. This and we were going back and forth. And then this like third dude jumps in. And he's like, look, I'm dating his wife. And I can swear to you that he knows what he's talking about. And I was just like, okay. You know. All right. I mean, I can't really, it's like under normal circumstances, if somebody had insinuated they were having an affair with my wife, I might have been like, you know.
Okay.
But in this circumstance, I was just like, okay. You got me, man. Freaking got me. Fired me right up. And I was like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? The answer is nothing. It was funny. And, you know, when somebody insults you and you laugh, that's like the ultimate. Because it's just like, you got a good sense of humor, you know?
Some people can just make fun of themselves and be happy. It works.
Right, you know?
I mean, look at Trump, especially early
I watched
Trump.
you guys talk about Condor. I watched, what's his name? Mark Hamill losing his freaking mind. It's
and his
like,
kids
really,
being
Mark?
smarter than him.
It's like, really, Mark? What is wrong with you?
No kidding.
Yep, I know the 2nd South Carolina String Band very well, Bubba. You know? Like 2 Arms in Dixie. Yeah.
That's why Star Trek's better than Star Wars.
Why?
Everybody knows that Galactic is the best sci-fi.
Somebody like Mark Hamill from Star Wars is running around acting like a freak.
No, that's not true.
No, that's not true.
That's not true at all because you've got Will Wheaton.
Yeah, Will Wheaton, George Takei. I'm pretty
George
sure
Takei won't shut the F up.
I know.
And it's like, look, you're a Japanese gay man. Okay. We all got it.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, the dude was backing me up saying I knew what I was talking about. And at the same time, he was implying that he was my wife's boyfriend.
And then you got pretty much the whole Voyager clip.
So it's just like, okay, man, that was good. Can't be mad at you. Can't be mad at it. As a matter of fact, I put it in my Rolodex because I'm just like, I can't wait till the situation. It hasn't yet, but I'll be on X one of these times, and somebody will be talking shit, and I'll drop that on them.
Hey,
Like, ha ha ha. Mobius dropped in from the Canada. I don't know, man. I think Mobius is from Canada, and if he is, I don't know what's going on up there. Those guys are acting like they're about 15 minutes away from an outright civil war. I mean, shit's getting real in Canada.
I don't pay attention to the news. That's why my life is cooler than everybody else's, because I always get to be surprised when we have like a major thing happen.
Right. I used to be that way, but since the election, the wife has been obsessed with politics and the news. And, the only news I watch is the couple of channels I watch to keep up on what's going on in the war and everything.
There's a war
on.
Yeah, there's a war on.
Yeah, there's a war. Uh-oh.
And we're deeply involved, like by billions of dollars. But hey, about it.
Yeah, but that's just normal shit for America.
Yeah, that's just normal for us.
And then we have politicians complaining about how much they get paid.
Oh, that fell, and now everybody's mad at Elon Musk because they're trying to blame him.
Well, they're gonna be really mad at him when he gets rid of most of their departments.
Yeah,
he fired like 90% of X's employees, and X for the first time in like years and years and years
profit
is actually profitable.
Wonder why.
It's like, and normally hearing that somebody lost a job or had to get quit or got laid off, I'd be sad, because I am deep down inside very much pro worker, pro labor kind of guy. But I was a union member.
I'm to a certain point, but there are some people I think needs a hard reality check.
And that's what I was getting to. These women who were posting shit about, I work for Twitter and today I went in and I did 15 minutes of work and then I drank red wine out of a dispenser and hung out on the roof and shit like that. And my wife and I were talking about that, and I was like, those women are stupid, because if they had that job, they should have been keeping that shit quiet.
Oh, definitely.
If anybody asked them what they do, they should have been like, dude, I spend like 12 hours a day staring at a screen under fluorescent bulbs, just coding nonstop. I'm getting freaking carpal tunnel, just make it out like it's the worst shit ever. But instead they're like, yeah, today I went in and had a meeting, and then I went and got breakfast, and then I went and kind of vibed on the roof for a while.
We get filet mignon for dinner.
It's like, bitch, you are going to get laid off, and no one's going to feel bad because you're bragging like this.
It's like all these chicks who are working remotely end up posting a bunch of shit where they're just hanging out at the pool and not even on their computer. And then they wonder why they got fired.
Right. Well, that's why one of the first things Elon did when he took over Twitter is he's like, everybody's coming back to the office. And if you don't like that shit, put in notice, and I'll tell you what, when they get in charge of the government and they make the rule where everybody who works for the government has to come into the office to work, that'll get rid of who knows how many tens of thousands of people. Because they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, you quit, which is evilly genius, because now it means nobody has to pay you unemployment or anything because you quit. So you can just take yourself on,
I'm fine with people working from home as long as they're working.
Well, the problem is, if you're going to work for Elon Musk, you have to understand
he wants
to be working for Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And that dude is going to, no matter who you are in his company, if he's at the company, which he most of the time is, he will be coming by your desk at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wants to see you working.
He is going to come by your desk and ask you how things are and what you've been up to. The dude never sleeps, and when he does sleep, he sleeps at the office. And he's just that guy, you know, that's like super interested in what exactly is going on at his businesses. And I mean, you know, you can't really blame him, can you?
Nope.
No, I don't blame Big Papa Elon for anything.
Well, I mean, I don't have to worry about because my lady is not getting called into the office. They already sold the building she used to work at because the pharmaceutical company she works for, they did the math and they're like, we're actually saving so much money by having people work remote.
Yeah, because they don't have to pay electric or anything else.
They don't have to pay utilities or anything. They sold one building of the two they had. And also, if wifey's walking through the house and falls down and breaks her leg, guess who's not getting workers' comp? She ain't, because she got hurt in house. She, you know, it doesn't matter if she was working remotely. If she gets hurt here, it's her problem, you know? So it's like, it saves the corporation she works for so much money to just cut these people loose. And it's crazy because her boss lives in like Pennsylvania or something. And one of the ladies that she's in charge of lives in Kentucky. Like, she's in charge of a whole team of people who do compliance, which is legal shit.
Yeah.
And none of them live. Like, I think of all the people she's in charge of, 2 of them might live in the same state as us.
My ex is doing a lot, kind of like she's doing, but my ex works for veteran services, making sure that the veterans paperwork gets filled out properly so they can get the treatments.
My soon-to-be brother-in-law, his sister and brother-in-law both work for the VA. For the medical side. And they sent me an email and shit, and they told me that based on whatever bullshitting around with them, that I should fill out some paperwork. And I'm like, why? And they're like, dude, you're eligible for a military retirement. I was like, what? They're like, oh yeah, you're 100%. You could be 100% disabled through the military. And I was like, well, I'm already 100% disabled through the fire department. And they're like, you can get both.
Do it.
And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, it takes about a year, but once it's done, you'll get like 40 grand a month, and they don't tax it.
Look at JA. He's retired from the military, Department of Corrections, and the DOT.
Yeah, it's like, it's not 40 grand a month, it's 40 grand a year, but it's not taxed or anything. Yeah. And then you can go to the VA hospital anytime you need anything. And as long as we're in Florida, they just built a brand new VA hospital down the street, and it is beautiful. But so
up to it.
Yep, talent opinions. But anyway, get back to, Condor is his own worst enemy, because all the people that he hates on either don't give a shit about him or would be cool with him if he would be cool. But the problem is he won't be cool. You know, it's like, you know, when you roll up on Condor, you're just like, hey, man, you gonna be cool? And he's like, no, I will never take that option. The option to just be cool, to just chill the F out and talk about AD&D or whatever the hell we're talking about and be a human being. He could easily do that at any time. And honestly, if he were to start doing it, say now, most people would probably forgive him for his past transgressions.
Big Vic, what's up, buddy?
Like, he wouldn't even have to like, hey, what's up, Big Vic? He wouldn't even have to ask for like forgiveness from anybody. All he'd have to do is stop being a jackass, making normal content and behaving like a normal human being. And I bet you if he were to do that within a month or two, people will be like, "Oh, Condor's all right. He's okay guy," you know. I guarantee it. I guarantee it because gamers, a lot of gamers, or maybe it's just me, Hungar, you can tell me, but I think gamers are very forgiving.
What's up, Cal?
Hey, there's Big Cow living the dream on the West Coast. You know, go surfing in the morning, go skiing at night, then enjoy a nice pizza with some wonderful lobster on it. Anyway, I love California. I just don't like most of the people who live there and none of the government. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
California would be nice
is
if it
by
wasn't so
far one
damn
of the
horrible.
most beautiful states on the planet, but it's just so mismanaged and whatever. It's like, it's a shame. But anywho, yeah, he's definitely maybe got some issues. I'm just saying, and Condor always watches my videos, so he'll hear this. That he would, if he would just calm down and be a normal human being and talk about games.
Napa Valley, you lucky bastard.
Oh wow, man.
You need to go by the French Laundry, Cal.
People would forgive him anyway. That's the end of the story. That's my story. That's and I'll stick to it. If he would just calm the F down and do his thing, talk about games and shit, people would forgive him. He would be part of the crew in no time, you know. He would be on Double D commenting on shit. He would be talking shit with me. It would be so easy, but he just doesn't want to do it.
I made a Lego lamp for Christmas myself, Cal, and it turned out perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what we're having for Christmas. Figure it out. Maybe I'll ask my wife if she'll make lamb chops. She makes really good. She marinates them overnight with like lemon juice and dill. So it's kind of a Greek recipe.
Yeah, well, most of them recipes are Greek recipes.
But, well, I mean, we could do it the Jewish style, which is just roast that shit over a fire. Serve with flatbread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how they do it in Israel. And if you
Cal, you're always invited to dinner, bro.
Yeah, if he ever finds himself in Tennessee. Right? I always tell a lot of people, like, I hope that Vic moves to Florida and lives near me before I move to Kentucky.
Shark's here. Watch out, everybody.
The shark is in the pool. Chomp,
For
chomp.
lunch on Christmas, we had Chinese because it's a tradition.
Right? Rah, 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 rah.
Exactly.
We had ham.
Ham is my favorite.
I love ham.
Yep.
Ham at my grandma's.
The Christmas
are my favorite too.
I love Greek cuisine too. You know, I've been making American food with Indian twist. It's really easy. All I do is not wash my hands before I start cooking.
I was just laughing about you finally admitting how much you love Greek.
Yeah, but it's a real pain in the ass for my girlfriend, but you know, that's okay.
See, that wasn't where I was taking it, but okay. Nice recovery. Nice recovery. But ham sucks. Vic says ham sucks. No way.
Wow.
How you doing, Shark? Simplify.
We had ham, deviled eggs.
Deviled egg. You know why they're called deviled eggs?
Why?
The first time you eat one of them, there's a little devil pops up on your shoulder saying, "Eat more, eat more."
Yeah.
Eat all of them. Believe it or not, the actual reason they were called deviled eggs, or in some places church eggs, is because they thought the mustard was spicy back in the day. So that was considered like, that's why, like, you ever heard of like deviled ham?
Mm.
It was basically in the 20s, anything that had any spice in it at all was like,
The devil.
well, I mean, it was just a thing, right? But like in a lot of your more hardcore Protestant churches, they won't call them deviled eggs. They call them church eggs. Like, you know. So I'm good to hear. Good to hear. Glad you're doing good.
Potato gratin.
Oh yeah. So it's just a weird story that I learned from Alton Brown, because I like Alton Brown and I like his weird stories. So, you know, can't stand, never had a good piece of ham. Jeez. See, I would understand that if like you were Muslim or living a kosher lifestyle or something, but you know, as an average American with no reason not to eat ham, I just don't get it.
Yeah, man, I don't get it either. I mean, my aunt's like that because she's 7-day Adventist, and they're weird about that.
Yeah. 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 See, like if it's for a religious reason, at least you can kind of understand. Doesn't mean I agree, but at least I can be like, okay, I get you. You don't eat ham, you think it's unclean, whatever.
Or
You know.
when my brother went into that weird, I think it was like Messianic Jews or something, the Jews that follow Jesus.
Yeah, they're something. Yeah, they are something. We've had a few of those down here, and the sad thing is they think they're doing the right thing, but they're not. You know, because they want to accept Christ, but they also want to hang on to their ethnocentric religion, which makes them superior to all other people. And that is just not the way it works. So, you know, but without getting too deep into all that,
Pork
yeah,
is
me,
a creature.
I like it. Like, wifey makes some nice German Black Forest ham, the kind that's kind of salty. And
Yeah,
then whatever we don't eat for dinner, man, I'm eating that shit fried with some eggs. And then she makes a casserole that's asparagus, ham, and Swiss cheese. And it's just like, oh, it's so good.
Or some good bacon. Bacon.
Yeah, well, bacon's like those people that say every slice of bacon takes however many years off your life.
that's bullshit because I'd have been
Take that
dead in
back.
like 1492.
Yeah, I would have died before I was born if that was the way it worked. But, you know,
I just think of TFS trucks going, oh, Corey said that you died of, what was it? Too much, like high cholesterol. And he's like, how? Too much bacon, apparently. And he goes, you take that back.
you take that back.
Yeah, overkill, Joe. I like spiral cut ham. I like country ham. I like Virginia ham. I like ham.
See, I'm picky.
You've always been a picky little bitch, though.
Picky little bitch. Shut up. You know I'm going to see you next month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's not that crappy, like, thin
You just
sliced
better hope that
pork
I'm more
ham,
forgiving
fine.
than Condor is.
Yeah, but you're not as forgiving, but you're forgetful.
True. I do not like ham if it's sweet.
I just don't like those little thin, like, sandwich hams that you get at the store. They're just not that good.
Well, we got a whole thing of Kentucky ham in the fridge that the wife is going to cube up and make a ham asparagus casserole out of, which is amazing. You know, it's ham, it's asparagus, it's Swiss cheese. It's like all the things.
Cream of mushroom soup.
Cream of mushroom soup. It's like, yep. But no, you know how some people want to put like a coating of sugar on their ham and pineapples and stuff like that. I don't get down like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big honey ham guy.
Yeah, and I don't deal with any of that. Let's stick cloves all over it and everything too. I'm like, no.
I put salt and pepper on my ham.
Yeah, it's like the ham already tastes good. It's like when people, okay, this year a buddy cooked us all steaks for one of the Christmases.
Your buddy.
Yeah. Well, he over seasoned the F out of them. To the point that like my wife was like, "Oh my God, these things are really over seasoned, aren't they?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, who seasons a steak? Put a little salt and pepper on it, cook it in a pan with butter.
Should be fine.
And then you eat it. I mean,
The only thing you put on a steak is salt and pepper.
right. It's like this ain't a clown show.
You can put some steak sauce on it. That'd be.
I mean,
fine.
what kind of circus are we running over here where we're gonna? Well, okay, you can eat it with steak sauce, but you don't put like all kinds of crazy spices on the steak.
No, you don't.
Salt and pepper, sear it on both sides, then baste it in butter.
He's
It's-
got some emotional problems. Well, who doesn't though, Shark? See, maybe that's why I can't have a lot of empathy for him, because I mean, you know, if you guys saw my diagnosis, you probably wouldn't listen to my channel.
And
You'd be like, nah.
if you guys saw my medical records, you'd be like, how the hell is he still alive?
Yeah. Well, that's true though, because I think honestly, you've outlived what they thought you would. So you're doing all right. You know what I mean? Condor, yeah, he's probably a pretty young man. And like I
Condor.
said, I think if he would just calm down, he could work his way back into everyone's good graces and everyone would be cool with him. Does he have some emotional problems? Well, yeah, but who don't? Right? So at some point in your life, you just got to be like, well, you know, we've all been through some traumatic bullshit, and you either make a choice to take control of your life or to let that bullshit run you. Right? Or you go to the doctor and get put on a shit ton of drugs. Both work. But
I think I'd rather not be put on a ton of drugs.
yeah, it's not great. But this veteran is medicated for your safety, as they say. But yeah, so I don't know. Now, Garrity, that guy, I'll talk a little smack about Garrity just because it's like every time you think he's going to be a normal human being, he says something so outrageous that it's just like, it's just like hard to believe he said it, you know? Like when he made that whole video for Dungeon Father or whatever. And he's like, the reason your game ain't working out right is you traded treasure for trash. You're playing some OSR game. And if I guarantee you, if you started playing 5e, things would be better. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, Garrity, that's not true. You know that's not true. I mean,
what's up, Nerdy Goblin?
and I say that as someone who don't even play D&D. And that shit's still not true, you know? The idea that
You say you don't play D&D like you never played D&D when all we ever played was D&D.
yeah, until recently when I started branching out and getting into all kinds of other games.
If it's fantasy, it's D&D.
See, that's the problem because it's like that gives D&D way more clout than it should have.
Well, when I talk about D&D, I'm talking about Gygaxian.
Right.
Well, not everything's
But
Gygaxian.
we're playing the One Ring, and that is very, very much not Gygaxian. And if we start playing Talislanta in the future, that is like nowhere near like Gygaxian.
Yeah, there's only one RPG god, and Gygax is his name.
Are you doing like the Muslim thing?
Yeah.
What did Clown Dork say now? I don't know. They were talking about he's having videos on how he likes to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And Double D and crew were kind of commenting on it. And like I was saying, to me, it's just sad because it doesn't have to be that way.
It definitely doesn't.
He's absolutely making his own life harder by behaving the way he does, you know? It's like, you know, all you got to do is not be a jerk off. And all of a sudden you will have people who want to
actually hang around
and tolerate you. But if you're going to be a big jerk off all the time, then you're not going to have a lot of friends because people are not going to want to deal with that shit.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with an asshat all the time.
Well, except you. I mean, you know, putting up with me, but
asshat all the time.
I mean, is he clickbait farming though? Now, Garby, I think he's clickbait farming for sure because his videos are so illogical one to the next that it's got to be like Garby's just talking up like a professional wrestler. That's like Garby.
Now,
okay. I think Mr. Camera pointing directly up my nostrils, driving around, man. I think that's an alter ego of the real Garby.
All right, you know that shirt that you gave me, the Man to Myth, the RPG legend.
Yeah,
I worked at a grocery store about a month ago, and this kid who works in the meat department, he came out and started talking to me about D&D, and I was like, "Yeah, well, you play?" He's like, "Oh, 5e, it's so good." I was like, "Yeah, wait until you check out some of the older editions. You might like those." And he's like, "Yeah, I really like my Illithid rogue assassin mage."
Yeah, but dude, you already said the thing in the very beginning, though.
Yeah, 5e.
No, he's a kid.
Yeah, kid.
Well, he's in his 20s, so yeah, he's a kid.
He's kind of a kid.
If I'm twice your age, you're a kid.
Right. And everyone knows that really young people, especially nowadays, but even back in the day, bro, like look at you. Back in the day, you had to go off the reservation and you had to play a dwarf battle rager.
Well, that's not that crazy.
That's not crazy.
It was for when we were playing AD&D. It was pretty crazy because he comes in with the dwarf book and he's like, "Can I play this weird freaking class you've never heard of?" And I'm like, "Fine." You know, so
he read the Dritz books.
Right. So there was this whole, so the kid wanting to play the whatever. Here's what's crazy. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. And you can say what you want about it or not, right? He's playing an Illithid whatever. If he were playing Talislanta and told you he was playing a Griff warrior, you wouldn't even blink.
No.
And Griff are basically giant half eagle badasses. Or, you know, like we hear people talking about their tiefling and we laugh. But if you were playing Talislanta and you said, "I'm playing a Tartaran demon hunter," you'd be like, cool. And Tartarans are half demon. That's their whole thing. So they are literally tieflings. But it's just that the setting of Tauslanta has always been designed to encapsulate these things, so
Well,
it's not weird.
yeah. Well,
And
D&D,
that,
it's weird because it's not really meant to have all these weird
that
things like
kind of
that.
blows my mind. Sorry, Left, about you, brother, because when we were younger, if anybody wanted to play anything outside of the box in D&D, you'd be like, no. And then you embrace the game with the strangest shit ever, with 142,000 different races and classes.
Yeah. But when I play D&D, even to this day, I'm all like, if it's not in the book, you ain't
It's not
playing.
allowed.
And when I run D&D these days, I run AD&D First Edition or OSC Advanced. So you're going to play whatever. There's going to be level caps. I hope you like it. And, that's just how it is. And some people can deal and some people don't like that so much, but I don't care because that's what D&D is to me.
Yeah.
AD&D is a thing, right? Tauslanta is an entirely different thing. So if you want to play some kind of weird four-armed warrior that carries around a giant freaking throwing star and likes to eat people, I'm okay with it because, that's part of Tauslanta. That's just the way it is.
Yes, I'm still butthurt over the acts of the Dwarven Lords, okay?
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you for bringing it up too soon, dude. It's only been 30 years.
It's only been 30 years. He's still mad about that shit. So close. So close. But hey, I gave him a acts of returning +2. And he ended up using the hell out of it too. So I don't even know what he's complaining about. Playing a lawful good half elf, half dwarf, half vampire, half shut the nerdy. Ah! It's like, right? You just want to be like, get out of here with that bullshit.
I want to play a goblin tiefling rogue ranger.
A goblin? What?
I want to play half giant, half halfling, sorcerer, wizard, warlock.
Wouldn't that just make you a human? I don't know.
Yeah, you think that'd just be okay? You're human.
I'd have like a halfling body with a giant head.
So you just want to play with DK mode on? Okay.
It could be worse because you could have a giant body but a halfling head. You could have a giant body with a giant head but a halfling penis.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
that's
So
right.
just real life.
You would be the laughing stock of the kingdom.
Yes.
Sure, he's 12 feet tall, but he's got a micro dong.
I've asked this before, and I want the real opinion. If a centaur and a mermaid, would they make like a human?
Well, no, maybe you'd get half horse, half fish.
So like a Capricorn thing.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys are I don't know, having too much fun with that.
All right. Well, I'm going to bounce out.
Why?
Yeah.
I've been on for about an hour, and I'm going back to sleep.
Nope. You gotta stay awake.
Nope, I don't.
You gotta hang out with me.
I did hang out with you for an hour.
But I need more of that Hungar time.
Yeah, but you said as long as I come on for an hour, I'm good.
Yeah, but I'm changing the rules. Pray I don't change them further.
And pray that I don't start ignoring text messages.
I do. But yeah, that dwarf of the dwarf lords, that axe of the dwarf lords. But the thing is, guys, as a DM, sometimes you got to realize when giving a player an item is going to destroy a whole campaign.
Yeah,
That weapon was too powerful.
and that weapon would have destroyed the whole campaign. It would have
Wait,
been
about
like,
that though, Hungar, did you get that shirt yet?
What shirt?
We were talking about how James should get you a shirt that says, "I was supposed to get the hammer,"
Axe of the
and it's like
Dwarven Lord.
instead, yeah, Axe of the Dwarven Lord, but all I got was a shirt instead.
All I got is this crappy shirt.
Yeah.
That would be pretty hilarious.
Y'all suck.
I wrote up an Axe of the Dwarven Lords, but all I got was this crappy shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's good times back in the day. And you know what's weird is when I hear Double D and them talking about their games are so much more intricate than ours were. Our games were like really straightforward, simple, murder hobo-y. You know, it's like the group gets together, they go to the nearest dungeon or something, they start murdering bad guys and taking all their money.
I guess
Our
it's just
games-
how people play, you know. Certain
Our
people
games
like,
were right for us.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, later on when they got higher levels, there were more politics and people getting married and dying of old age and stuff, but the actual gaming was always literally a we need to do a thing or let's go do a thing, whatever it was. And then the players would travel to the place and go in and just basically start killing the bad guys, you know?
Yeah.
And then occasionally killing one of the other players. He died multiple times.
Nah, he deserved it.
Yeah, he did. He's always trying to PvP the other player, but he was trying to do it in a way so that it would look like he was accidentally doing it. But it wasn't an accident, and everybody knew it wasn't an accident. He tried that shit with Hungar's Bow Rager, and Hungar went into a fury and hacked him into little hamburger meat. And
I wouldn't stop Hungar's character either.
And then he
he
went out
was
of
playing the Battle Rager. And then the dude went out on our front porch and freaking like
cried.
And it was like, well, you're the asshole that thought it'd be a good idea to shoot him with a magic missile.
Yeah.
And then I called him a little bitch.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know what you were thinking, but that was not a smart idea. That
It's
was
like, what did you expect?
Yeah, I mean, he's a dwarf battle rager, and he's in the middle of a rage, and you shoot him with a magic missile because you think shooting him with the magic missile will cause him to stop raging. Yeah, that's not how any of that works. It was an accident. Yeah, right. Yeah. It was like, nope, that's not. This guy was such a pain in the ass. Like, I don't know what you even call his play style, but it was like everyone would be traveling on their horses down a road between going from one town to the next or something. And he would be like 50 yards away in the woods, traveling parallel to him or something. And then he would be like, he'd always bitch every time he got jumped by wandering monsters. And it's like, you are a wizard alone on horseback riding through the woods. It's like, you know, I mean, how
he was
can
gonna
I
be
explain
clever,
to you?
or
Do what?
did he think he was going to be clever by having it where he thought you would just give the rest of the party an encounter while he'd just be able to safely sit there or something?
I don't know what he thought.
I don't get
because
that.
I don't even know if he thought. But you know, it was pretty freaking stupid. And then I had another player that was so annoying that at one point during the game, one of the other players tied him up and pissed on him. And that was like 25 years ago that happened. And for the longest time, every now and then I would hear that story. You know?
Yeah, but that's the dumbass that when we were getting chased by orcs, he decided to try to bury himself in the snow to hide from them.
Yeah, and the orcs were like watching him. Orc ran out and just smacked him in the head with a two-handed axe and killed him. It's like, yeah, that was when we were playing Greyhawk because you guys were in the mountain area north of the Ulick, the three Ulicks, Principality County and what, Princedom or whatever. So yeah, a bunch of orcs from the Pomarge were raiding, and he's like, I'll just like fall to the ground and try to cover myself with snow. And I'm like sitting there like the orcs are literally 20 feet from you. And the orc just ran up and smacked him with an axe. And he got to roll a new character. But Bubba's dealt with that guy. He's the one where you're like, okay, this is the campaign we're playing. We're going to play Traveler, and everyone's going to be like a mercenary, blah, blah, blah. And he'll make a Traveler character that's like a musician or something. Or you say, hey, we're going to play D&D, and, it's going to be all about whatever. And whatever it's all about, the character he makes will be completely the worst choice of character for the game you have planned.
Like the time when he made the mage and he was running around in all these small towns and said, my name is so-and-so the Chaotic. And he kept on wondering why all the freaking villagers wanted to burn him at the stake.
Right. He was the one that he always wanted to play a dual class cleric thief. And I was always like, why?
I don't know.
It's like you would be better off just being a cleric or a thief. Dual classing that shit is like the height of like, why? What even is the point of that? I mean, any other class with thief would be better than cleric. But he would try to play that, and as a result, he was constantly getting other players killed with his stupidity. He got his wife killed during one battle. I swear to God, she looked at him like she was plotting divorce.
Yeah, she did.
I mean, because it was so dumb, and everyone tried to tell him not to do the thing, but he insisted on doing the thing, and it got his wife's fighter killed, and it got him killed. And then everybody basically called him a dumbass and jumped his shit and was like, why are you so stupid? And then, yeah. And I was one of them too, because I was like, dude, you've been playing this game as long as I am. Why are you so stupid? I mean, you would think after 30 years of playing D&D, you would know how to play D&D. Yeah. Contrary for no other reason than to be contrary. He would wait till he would hear what the whole rest of the group wanted to do, and then he'd argue against it, whatever it was. And then if he won the group over to his idea, he would change his mind so that they could argue some more. And that was just kind of, or you're playing a campaign set in a mythological Russia, and it's going to be all out in the wilderness, doing shit. So he makes a character that's like 100% designed for urban adventuring. And it's like, why? Why did you do that? You knew. And then complains that his character is not very useful and tries to convince all the other characters to go to the largest city ASAP. And it's like, you truly are just an asshole.
Yeah, because he wanted everybody to follow him.
Yeah, but the problem was, even when he wanted people to follow him, if you followed him, he'd argue against you.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, if you agreed to do the thing he wanted you to do, he'd argue. And it was just like, what in the F, man? I mean, yeah. So I hope he's doing well, and I hope he had a great Christmas. But I'll tell you one thing he did, though, that's shady, is after he quit my game, he called all of the other players in my game and invited them to go to another game behind my back. And of course, none of the players in my game did. They're all like, no, get bent. But he did
to be around him neither. It's like, God.
He did that, though. He literally called all the people that I gamed with to try and talk them into leaving my game to go to another game.
Yeah.
An urban adventure can be really fun, Nerdy Ogre, if that's what you want to play. Like if you want to play basically a Lankmar style adventure where the players are in this gigantic city and, you know, they're going to get involved with all kinds of shit, that could be a great campaign.
I kind of want to play a Thieves World kind of game.
You would probably want to tell your players before they made characters that was the campaign you're running.
Yeah.
So that they could make thieves and fighters and majors.
Characters that would fit the campaign.
Maybe not rangers, because what the fuck is a ranger doing in the middle of New York City?
Urban Ranger. You're playing
Right.
out of
so
fish out of water system.
Yeah, like none of my abilities actually work here. Great. You know?
Why can't you be an Urban Ranger?
I mean, I could see an urban adventure set in like a big city where like the players are all playing assassins or thieves,
Yeah.
or at the most some kind of multi-class involving that. And then maybe the players are part of the Thieves Guild, or maybe they're there to try to take over from the Thieves Guild.
Oh, hey,
I see. You know, and maybe that's their whole deal, is they want to.
I want a multi-class mage thief, please.
You know what? That would actually be really good. But what would be more powerful would be a multi-class mage assassin.
Like my old mage assassin.
I'm not saying anything, but there is one in my campaign. It's an NPC that the players
we read Conan, some sort of Conan, and one of the guys in the book, Tem, he was an assassin that became a mage, and I thought it was cool, so I made that character, and he was a badass.
Man,
Yep.
I could have missed my gnome thief.
But if you think about, you know, an assassin's abilities and then combine it with a mage's abilities.
Especially the ability to cast spells through your familiar. Oh, look at the little cute kitten. Pet it and disintegrate.
Pet it and then
Or
fireball.
it's like, don't worry about climbing a wall when you have a fly spell.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you can just fly up into the freaking area and then creep up on somebody and stab them in the back of the head with a venomous stagger.
But yeah, James, I really missed my gnome thief.
Nobody said, hey, nothing says in the AD&D book you cannot be magic user assassin. So I mean, what the hell?
In AD&D First Edition, an elf could definitely be.
That's what mine is. She's a female elf that, well, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you use proficiencies, but if you did, you would have needed to get her seduction.
Hold on. Maybe I can find her character sheet.
So that she could try to schmooze her way through
Schmooze
certain
our way
encounters,
through.
you know?
Let's see how pretty she is here.
You had to have a high charisma. Come on.
No, that's my gnome. She doesn't work.
I like gnomes.
It's a paladin.
Well, James, would you have
Cleric.
liked my gnome thief?
Yeah, gnome thieves are great, man.
My gnome.
Well, she's only got a 14 charisma.
Oh,
So
that's-
Yeah,
Well-
but that's not necessarily beauty, remember?
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I mean, if
Well.
you wanted an actual score for physical attractiveness, you would use comeliness. And elves
Yeah.
got a huge bonus on their comeliness roll.
In
Yeah, I
RuneQuest,
didn't do
in
the
RuneQuest, you get
the
an appearance
comeliness
stat.
stuff on my campaign.
There's
My players already hate me bringing in NPCs
what
enough the
usually
way it is
people
because
use.
they always know something's
What
going to
most
go
people
on.
usually use charisma for is divided into two stats in RuneQuest. It's
Right.
appearance and magnetism. One talks about how you look, and the other one talks about how well you speak to people.
Yeah, a lot of role playing games are like that. That you've got appearance, and then you've got like personality or fellowship or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the assassin does get the disguise ability.
Yep.
So
But,
if she's got the a disguise kit,
But yeah, my gnome rogue.
of course, as a mage, eventually she could get polymorph self and just be like,
My gnome rogue kind of changed an entire campaign from a murder mystery to Godfather.
One of the best characters in our D&D games is this one of the ladies that plays, and she played a gnome thief illusionist, I think, because that's kind of the gnome thing for old school D&D, thief illusionist. And her character was actually really, really cool. Whereas I think my wife at the time, her character was a cleric.
I started gang wars and everything.
Yep, that's kind of what her character's nickname was, Trixie, because she was very tricksy.
And she always had a freaking bag of cookies.
Yep,
We went a little bit weird on
those 8 attributes, but
like in that game, DM kind of made a magic punk world, kind of like almost modern day, but with magic in it.
Well, just play D20 Modern with the Urban Arcana book.
Yeah, they could have done that. Yeah,
I mean,
but,
that's basically what you're talking about.
I had like a really cool like Mateba Model 6 Unica with a suppressor on it that actually made it completely silent.
Yeah, I don't think you can silence the shotgun.
It's not a shotgun. It's a revolver.
Oh, well, you said Utica, so I was
there's always
shotgun.
ways to silence
Unica
something.
means unique in
There's-
Italian.
Utica, I thought, is an actual brand.
No, I said Unica. Unica.
Oh, well, then my
Mateba Model 6 Unica is it's a revolver that shoots from the bottom cylinder of the revolver.
You're
And
thinking
it's
of
right.
Ithaca.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
they
I
could.
might. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
be thinking of the Ithaca, which is shotgun.
But yeah, basically the designer basically named it that just to say it is unique.
Hmm.
And its biggest claim to fame was that it was in the Ghost in the Shell movie.
Huh.
The weird-eyed guy uses a Mateba.
Yeah. The weird-eyed guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the weird eyes.
That could be any of them.
He had the weird, like, white dot type eyes.
Yeah, I know you're talking about the big guy.
Yep.
But Nerdy Ogre, the game we're looking at has for stats intelligence, personality, willpower, charisma, strength, depth, constitution, speed, and hit points.
Man, I kind of want to play another urban game where I can play like kind of a thievish rogue character.
And speed is kind of cool because the higher level the speed of your character, the faster you actually move during your actions.
I played an urban game where everybody was waiting for their fathers to come home with the milk.
I don't think we're talking about that kind of urban game. But
I had a really cool motorcycle that did a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
yeah, it sounds like you were playing Shadowrun or Cyberpunk.
Almost. It was just kind of like a Magic Punk D&D setting that DM had.
Yeah. D&D is terrible for that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it is. But we tried to make it fit. And it
In
did
my opinion,
okay.
like any modern type game should be skill based.
Yeah.
You guys notice that 2025 is starting off with WTF?
No?
Wednesday, the first is Wednesday, the second is Thursday, and the third is Friday. WTF 2025.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
WTF.
never paid attention. But yeah, my sister-in-law's come
Wednesday,
down and she's
Thursday,
going to
and
stay
Friday.
about a week. So that'll be something. And then Friday we're supposed to head to the coast and hang out with my father-in-law.
Well, I'm bouncing, guys.
See ya, Hungar.
All right, Hungar. I'll try to get your brother to make an apology to you about the dwarf of dwarvish max.
Nope.
Don't hold your breath.
As the DM, I maintain my right
What
to
Vic needs to
determine
do
what
is
you get.
give Hungar a deck of curses so he could use on his brother.
It's funny too because
Yeah,
right.
There you go. The Hungar's got to get some deck of curses, and he can. Next time you DM, you can have him shuffle through those and
Just be like, all right. Seth Gorkowski recently did a video about bad things DMs do. And one of them he did, they were all bad things he does or has done. And one of them was stingy DM.
Yeah.
And you know how he plays his players like Dweebles and Jack and whatever. Yeah, and they're talking about playing a game of Cyberpunk, and they killed this like group of elite like corporate guards, and they're like, cool, we need to check them out to see if they've got any loot we can use, right? And Seth says, he tells the players, well, they've got a light auto pistol and 250 EVs, which is Eurobucks. Yeah. And they're like, wait, what? What about the body armor they're wearing? Oh, it's all ruined because you shot it full of holes. And they're like, really? Well, okay, whatever. I'm going to check them for ammo. I'm kind of low on ammo. They don't got any more ammo. They shot it all at you. And his players are all pissed off at him because apparently that's something he used to do. And the other thing he used to do is if a player aggravated him in real life, he'd kill their character.
I got a player in my group that every time he comes around, he wants to play it like a half giant or half ogre, and he says, "I want to carry a ballista for a weapon." And I'm like, "You can't pack that thing. You cannot pack that."
Can I play a centaur so I can have a ballista mounted on my back?
Yeah.
No. I mean, maybe a Roman scorpion, but that's not ballista. That's just like a spear thrower. Those things weren't very big. They probably didn't hit as hard as a freaking arbalest did. I mean, when you think ballista,
I just get weird requests all the time from this player.
That's gonna make it still really goofy, but I messed up and didn't.
A druid illusionist gnome. That is an interesting combination. Mm-hmm. Not one I've ever had, because in almost all of the games I've ran of D&D in the last 15 years, druids have always been evil. So no one ever gets to play druids.
Can you do a druid gnome in AD&D though?
I don't know if you can or not. If the DM says you can, you could. There is always that.
It says here, according to Gygax, not a chance.
Not a chance.
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah, but the problem is, according to whoever his DM is, it could.
Yeah,
And that's how Gygax would have wanted it.
Well, not in my game. I don't care.
Well, not in my game, but
That's sort of
not
the point.
because of his race, just because gnomes are druids are evil. Like everyone hates them.
And I don't play bards. I don't let bards come into my
Aw.
game. Bards
But I
are
like
annoying.
being a bard. But again,
It
I don't
depends-
blame you.
It depends. Like, if someone wants to play a bard, I'll let them play a bard. But
Now in AD&D, if somebody wants to play a bard, good chance, good luck.
Right.
You're not doing it.
right, if they wanted to play a bard in like OSC Advanced, I'd let them. But
It's like,
eventually
Hey,
they'll realize their
yeah,
character
Zubala-
sucks.
it's like, look, you want to play a bard? Why don't you just aim for something feasible?
A bard is at the back of the book, and at the back of the book, that's optional.
Fair.
So-
But I mean, it's
Not only that,
optional,
but
isn't
it breaks all the
You're
rules.
never gonna see it anyway. It's
So
like, here's the thing.
Gygax says that a human can only dual class,
Yeah,
but the bard triple classes.
yeah, you have to actually get 3 classes, and that
Which,
would-
according to Gygax, you can't do.
you can't.
But in the bard thing, it says you do.
You have to. I guess
So-
it's if the DM allows it. But the thing is, even if he does, good luck. Why don't you aim for something more feasible, like a paladin?
17 charisma?
It's
No, thank
more-
you.
It's
If
still
I get
more
a 17, it's going into strength, and I'm playing a fighter.
feasible. Fair, but I'm just saying it's more feasible to be a paladin, and those are actually quite rare too.
Well, they're supposed to be.
I know.
That's the thing. But in OSC bards, there's a couple of kinds of bards you can play. There's the arcane bard, or there's the divine bard. So, whatever you want.
Because I think in every story there can be a chance to have that scald character, that storyteller. I mean, a lot of people just misuse the bard to just be this one thing.
Yeah, a womanizing pain in everybody's dick.
Yeah.
And that shit gets old pretty quick when you're just like, really, dude?
Yeah.
This is all you plan on doing with your whole life? I mean, I'm sitting here rooting for the monsters to kill you. That's not right. That shouldn't be that way. But Big Vic is your game only in person.
Yep, Cal. I only do in person. I've tried the internet stuff, and it just didn't work out.
I
I
get
think
that.
players
there.
going, I gotta go to bed with my wife, blah blah blah. They're just so, just no. If you're here, if you're gonna play, you're gonna play. None of this. I'm coming in for 2 hours and leaving nonsense. You know what I mean? So I don't play that. I don't play that.
Like that guy in the original Gamers
Yeah,
never showed up. What was it? Mark of the Firestone Keep
yeah.
or the Fireblood Berserkers or whatever.
Makes
And
me
they're
think
like,
of something else. It's like, Spivey had to talk about somebody who always came late, even whenever it came to them actually asking him when the best time is for him. And it's like, the last time he had that happen, and before they went to his house, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm running late. I forgot my pants."
I forgot my name. See, I'm lucky my players show up on time.
You're sitting there like, how do you forget your pants?
I'm
Well,
sure
yeah,
there's
you know,
a way.
Here's the thing:
It's so weird. It
It's-
couldn't be a
I
lie.
sent out to everybody in my crew on Christmas Day, and then I reset one today, and it's like, respond to the email, so I know which campaign I've got to do here. Do I got to do the first level campaign, or do I got to go with the big boys, so I can figure out what I got to draw up and do stuff? And I'm not getting answers, and it's starting to aggravate me.
Yeah, I had to get on my players because I would put something out in our game group. Freaking like BBS,
Yep.
and they wouldn't answer. So eventually I was like, listen here. And you know what straightened them up a little bit is I started just making characters at random, and they'd show up and I'd be like, here's your characters. And they'd be like, but I didn't want to play this. And I'm like, well, maybe you should have answered the question when I asked, what do you guys want to play?
Yeah.
Or are you going to make a character? Tell me what you're making. But you didn't do that. So now we're playing Warhammer Fantasy Role Playing, and you get these characters.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'll let you trade if you really want to. So a couple of people traded. But other than that, I'll tell you what, when I decided I wanted to run Talislanta in the future, I put a list out saying, these are the careers you can be, from the 9 kingdoms. And they were quick to be like, I want to be that. I mean, they were like, because I was like,
nobody didn't want you to just make your character.
So, yep. So Hungar is playing a blue Birdman who can't fly.
Oh.
And most everyone else is playing a human mage.
Well, hopefully Hungar called him Harvey. Then he could be Harvey Birdman.
Oh, that would be funny. But there is a race that lives in the 9 kingdoms, and they're divided between the blue and the green ones. The green ones tend to be more magical, and the blue ones tend to be more warrior. And that's their plumage, right? But the problem is they've lost their wings. Their wings have turned into arms.
Yeah.
But they still have feathers on them, but not enough to actually fly. They can glide, though.
Also, can my job be attorney?
Attorney?
Yeah.
It actually could, but they wouldn't call you an attorney. They would call you a arbiter or something like that.
Oh.
Barrister. I mean, there is a skill that involves knowing the law. But the only good thing is the blue.
Oh God, I could technically do that in RuneQuest. Actually, I'd have to play a key.
The blue bird people, like the one Hungar chose, starts the game with bracers of levitation. So if he glides, he can glide indefinitely. But like I said, since he can't fly, he has to jump off of something. So if he's just standing on the ground and he tries to pull that shit, he'll be gliding like 3 feet above the ground.
I'd do that. Just glide 3 feet off the ground over everywhere.
Through the woods and everything. That wouldn't work out for you.
And hit a tree or something.
You're
Be like, oh.
You're just a moving target at that point, But everyone else is just playing a Silmarillion wizard or something like that.
Wait, can you activate it and deactivate it at times?
Deactivate what? The bracers?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so if you're floating around, you're just stuck floating around?
No, you can always aim down and just glide down.
Okay.
The problem is you can't glide up.
Okay, that's fair. I was wondering how it worked.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, whenever I'm in town, I'd just be gliding everywhere around town.
Well, I mean, they do tend to build their cities in their kingdom within the 9 kingdoms, kind of like Ewok villages where there's ladders, but also, they glide from one place to the next or whatever.
But I mean, how many people would just be kind of weirded out that there's this blue bird just flying, like floating around everywhere?
In the 9 kingdoms, no one.
It probably wouldn't be. Yeah, okay, fair.
No one would be super surprised. They'd be like, "Oh, look, it's a blue Airnid, and he's floating around for some reason."
It's really like, that's weird. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, it'd be like, "You're a weirdo," but no one would really give a shit because, I mean, they're part of the kingdom. They joined the militia. A lot of them are stationed on the eastern wall to watch out for the beastmen and the subhumans. So, they're basically the blue version is the warrior.
I think if I was playing this
is the mage.
And I was going to go with that, I'd have to have business cards. Just like Harvey Birdman, barrister at law.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can
get about the random people.
It's just like RuneQuest. You can get pretty much almost any skill. Like if your character's background is rural, then you start with the farm skill.
Yeah.
So, your character
Although
knows how
that
to
would
farm.
probably be, I don't know what it would be called, because that wouldn't be nomadic, and it wouldn't
If
be
you take
civilized.
nomadic, you start with the ride skill.
Hmm.
Or a survival skill that makes sense.
And there's the barbarian.
There are no barbarians in this game.
Ah,
Well, actually they are, but they're just not called
playable.
barbarians.
Oh,
But they are barbarians. I mean, they run around with no civilization, killing and eating people, raiding the shit out of everybody.
yeah. And in RuneQuest, you can actually be a barbarian, which just means that you're going to have a lot of more non-civilizational skills. Like you'd be like about hunting and stuff like
you
that.
just have skills that reflect the fact that you live out in the woods.
I found it funny because my character was a nomad, but was actually very smart for being a nomad.
Well, I mean, just because you're a nomad doesn't mean your character's going to be dumb.
No, I just found it kind of interesting. It meant that I had more different, like, I guess you could say more different skills than you would normally have.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
like
do
you wouldn't have
but
you wouldn't have the civilizational skills. It was more like you're really good, like at certain skills that nomads would traditionally be good at.
The ultimate nomad would be Genghis Khan.
Fair.
I would not ever refer to him as being dumb.
No.
I mean, that dude was really, really smart. That's how he conquered pretty much everything he set his mind to conquer. But
also had a buttload of children. Remember that.
And he had a buttload of spawn.
My character might be like that.
But no,
like 22.
Talislanta doesn't have classes, but it has archetypes. And what an archetype is it's a combination between a race and a class. And it's basically a situation where this is what makes sense in the context of the world, right? So since Cymrilians, which are humans, are super hardcore, all of them are into magic use and shit like that. All of the Cymrilian archetypes involve magic use in some way. So, like, my wife's character is a sword mage. She's really good with a sword. But guess what else? She also has magic. And then the other guy is a rogue mage. So he's got like assassination and all kinds of crazy skills and magic. And then the other two are just straight up mages. So they've got double magic. Because when you're a mage, you get to pick an order of magic. But Cymrilian mages start with 2 orders. And each order is basically a whole spell list that they know. And in Talislanta, there's something like 20 plus orders. So, like, if you're an elementalist, you have to choose which elemental power. You can be a pyromancer, aeromancer, aquamancer, whatever. Like the Gnomekin, they are crystalmancers. They only get that. But it's because they live underground and they know how to use magic that can allow them to mold, grow whatever crystal. And as a result, they make all of their weapons out of crystal, but then they use magic to make it hard as steel, actually harder. And so a Gnomekin crystal sword basically has piercing 2. It ignores 2 points of armor absorption because of how wickedly sharp they are. And if you play a Gnomekin, you start with one of them. So, as a matter of fact, the wife's character, because magic is such a whatever in this game, she starts the game with a +1 longsword. Like, +1 weapons in this game are about the equivalent of masterwork weapons in D&D. Because, like I said, if you're in Cymrilia, everyone there's a mage. And the basic ability that every mage gets is enchant item. So you see what I mean? Any mage can do the enchant item thing. The only thing slowing them down is time. It takes a long time to enchant items and a lot of materials. So, I mean, yes, a character could make a really badass weapon, but that character would have to stay out of the adventure for like 6 game months. And, you know, a lot of them aren't going to want to do that online, but you have dedicated players. Bubba runs online, I think. He might not. I mean, he can speak for himself. I've never ran online except with a Hungar one time playing Conan, and sort of kind of with Leth, but it wasn't really a thing because Leth didn't even have a character. It was more like I said, Leth, you are a nobleman from the village of whatever in the Redlands of Piast, Poland, and some farmers from a village down the way haven't paid their yearly taxes. So what do you do? And Leth just told me what he did, and I just told him what happened. No dice were ever rolled. But if I ever decide to run Baptism of Fire online, I know I'll be inviting Leth. Because kind of technically, he's got a character already, you know?
I could probably make that character.
Right? I think you were a warrior or a knight or something.
Yeah.
And when he went down to that village that hadn't paid taxes, he found out all of their thatch roof cottages had been burnt down. And so, yeah. So that was the mystery, you know, like who burnt down this village and where are all the pumpkins at or whatever.
It was Baba Yaga.
Oh.
No, Baba Yaga wouldn't have done that. She might have ate some of their kids, though.
Yeah.
Depending on whether the kids were well behaved or not. That's one of the things. If you read the story of Baba Yaga and what's her name, Alicia the Beautiful, because the young woman does all of the chores Baba Yaga sets for her. Not only does Baba Yaga not eat her, but Baba Yaga helps her. But then later, her evil stepmother wants to know what's up and goes to Baba Yaga's hut, and Baba Yaga eats her. So, yeah. And then there's the one where Kostichi steals the princess and runs away, and he's got his horse is so fast, and the Russian prince that's trying to save his wife to be has to get a horse, but the only horses fast as his are owned by Baba Yaga. So he has to go to Baba Yaga and do a bunch of trials and stuff. And in the end, she gives him a horse. And then, of course, Kostichi is kind of like the archetype of the Lich, because he hid his life in a needle that he put in a chicken egg that he put inside of a goose that he put inside of a rabbit. And then he hid the rabbit under a tree. So he can't be killed unless you can find that and then break the needle or something like that.
That's an interesting way to hide your phylactery.
Yeah, it's a weird phylactery, but hey, you know, Slavic mythology gets kind of out there. You know what I mean? It's like other stuff.
If liches were real in this world, I would actually make my phylactery out of a Nokia phone.
One of the old Nokia flip phones.
Yes, not flip
phone. I got a Moto G Power I'd make mine out of.
Not a Nokia flip phone. It was one of those very old brick phones that they cell phones that they made. That just like you could throw that outside a car, have it ran over multiple times, and hey, it still works fine.
Yeah, that's funny, Leth. That was funny.
I actually seen a meme about it. It's like, hi, this is what was that one famous lich? I can't remember his name. Acererak. And it's like, good luck destroying this phylactery. And it is a Nokia phone.
Yeah, that would be a Sirak. He's the one that they're still riding his nuts.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, in the grand theme of things, he wasn't even that major of a character. He was just the final bad guy in a tournament dungeon.
Yeah.
It's not like he was
Doing anything.
right. And it's kind of like how TSR, or not TSR, Wizards of the Coast are obsessed with Tasha. But I don't think the Wizards of the Coast guys have ever admitted the fact that Tasha was actually Igwelv. Tasha was Igwelv's alter identity when she was out doing shit. The rest of the time, she had her mountain stronghold in the Parentland Mountains there. And she had a couple kids, I think, by the demon Gratzt. And her daughter, one of her daughters was a vampire.
Bad mage, bad.
She was like the most powerful witch in Greyhawk. But her alter identity, which she went adventuring with Mordenkainen and them a few times, her alternate identity was Tasha. But yeah, so there actually is no Tasha.
No Tasha. Well,
Yeah.
that's fair. All I really cared about Minder. Minder was the best wizard.
Yeah, well, I don't know who Mender is,
Oh, you don't know Minder?
but I know who the best wizard is, and it's not Mender.
Ah,
It's Freyrin.
yeah, for Aaron. I was going for old school D&D.
And I was going for an anime I watched where the elf wizard is absolutely the best wizard.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, okay, Melf was that was Luke Gygax's guy, and what was it? What was Tensor? Tensor was Ernie's, right?
And then you had Mordenkainen, Drawmage,
Yeah,
which is Jim Ward.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Melf. Was it Melf? No. Which one of them was it? Was a paladin and he had a pair of magic 6-shooters?
I don't know.
Because he had went to the Old West and lived there for years. And then when he finally got back to Greyhawk, he had the pistols and he got them enchanted. Yeah, Igwil is Tasha. So, but I don't, sometimes I wonder if Wizards of the Coast people know that because they keep talking about Tasha this, Tasha that. And it's like, there is no Tasha. That's kind of the inside joke. There is no Tasha. Tasha is just an alias Igwil used to, journey about and be a bitch.
I'm wondering if Minder was actually something from just our game because I mean I remember Minder's library in Flan. And that's what I was thinking of.
I think there might. I don't know. There's a library in Flan for sure.
Yeah, and in our game
If
it
you
was
go
called
in there
Minder's
jacking around
library.
and not paying attention, you'll get jumped by wraiths and they will kill you. Because there's, I think, two wraiths in there.
Yeah, I think in the video game there were 2 wraiths.
And that's rough business too, because back in that version of D&D, I think wraiths, if they hit you, drain.
Okay, I
two
just
levels.
looked it up. It is Murlynd, Murlynd. He came back in a pair of wands that were in the shape of 6
Right.
shooters. They would shoot projectiles.
Right. Yep, and he was one of the wizard's like bodyguards. But I mean, also Vecna and Cass, that was a thing. And then Cass used the blade of Cass, and he's the one that cut Vecna's hand and eye out. So, they had a lot of shit going on. But if you ever play one of my favorite adventures, Lost Tombs, that's Igwelv's house. You have to travel through and what's funny is one of the random encounters on the random encounter chart is 100 to 300 goblins.
Oh,
And if you're lucky, you might find the Gnome Kingdom, but if you don't play your cards right, they'll like run you off. They're not guaranteed to be like friendly, they're neutral. So, you know, if you act like a fool, the gnomes are going to tell you to pound sand and get the hell out of there. But if you're cool, they might let you in and sell you some supplies and, you know, let you camp out there and do some shit. And then when you finally get to the caverns, there's even a portal to like a demi dimension where you fight Koschei, who is like an evil deity demigod with a giant ass black adamantine hammer or some shit like that. And if you go through the portal, you're basically in Russia. It's like a super frozen, snow covered, you know, deep pine forest, and Koschei is there.
I wonder how much has been changed, especially map wise in our RuneQuest game to the land.
Yeah, I was hoping forever that 5e and 6e would leave Greyhawk alone, but apparently they're going to F that up too.
Oh, they already did.
So it's like, you know, it's to me, it's just like, this is ridiculous. These guys have no actual talent. I mean, you want to talk about standing on the shoulders of giants, you know? That's basically their whole existence. And then they're going to, you know, talk shit. And it's like, I mean,
I call it plagiarism by osmosis, basically.
Yeah, right. You know, and you got these guys like that interview with Chris Perkins. And I'm just like, Chris Perkins is like terrible. That actually pissed people off. Some people like got really mad at me and started talking all kinds of shit.
That's why I took that's one of the reasons why I took a stand against WOTC. They won't censor or do anything or tell their people to shut the hell up. I'm like, nah, you know, at WOTC, I don't need to have your Adventure League play at DaveCon. Forget this nonsense. You can take your WOTC play and go do it somewhere else because I'm not supporting your company.
Right.
You know, flat out. It's no. I'm sorry. You no respect for the old school gamers, no respect for grognards. Forget it. Go away.
Well, this guy, I actually made a video about and like ripped him a new ass over it, but he wasn't a Wizard of the Coast employee. He was just someone who played 5e that apparently got really ass hurt about me saying 5e sucks compared to like all the TSR versions of the game. And he took it really personal and was, you know, like he was like, you're just an old guy. And you know what the best thing is eventually you'll be dead. And I posted back and I said, but so will you. So, I mean, you're not going to be immortal, buddy. We're all going to die. And it doesn't change the fact that the game you play sucks. You know, I'm sorry. If you wanted to play a better game, you could play, and I named better games. But that's one thing that's weird.
It's not hard to name better games.
It's not hard to name better games. It is weird how defensive some people get over the game they play. You know, it's like
basically fill a dartboard full of games and I'll hit one and it'll be better than 5th edition.
Right.
Well, part of the problem is they've never played First Edition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or any other games. They're just so focused. They got that narrow-minded focusedness on that stuff. And it's just like, no, come play. I'll give you a character. You know, you don't have to roll up anything. Just, you know, you'll see how deadly, how different it is between your game that you're playing that you call Dungeons and Dragons and the game that originally was Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean?
So these guys are now based with their mud and rock. And I will put some tufts on them and they'll be done. And that'll be one unit out of like 8 done. But yeah. No one is as defensive about the game they play as 5e players. They literally get ass hurt if you say something bad about 5e. Like if somebody talks shit about first edition to me, I'm like, yeah,
okay.
Whatever.
I'll still play it.
I disagree, but whatever. But 5e players, man, they get freaking fired up about it. It's like, dude, I'm not attacking your family or something. I'm just saying that I think 5e sucks. And you're taking it like serious, like
people take it to take it too personally, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it's not personal for me to say 5e sucks. I mean, like I said, he called me an old grognard and said I was eventually going to die. Well, okay, fair. At which point it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do about that? Nothing. But yeah, he was just talking mad shit, and it's like, Chris Perkins only works at Wizards of the Coast because he kisses the most ass. Everyone else that worked there when
he's the best brown noser.
Yeah, because everyone else that was actually good at designing games ended up getting moved to some other department or fired. And yet Perkins keeps hanging on. I don't know. Maybe he's got some like porn videos of like the boss doing some crazy shit, and he's like holding blackmail or something. Like, you can't fire me or else I'll release this tape. Yeah, their identity is wrapped up in 5e. That is a thing to it. Blame COVID a little bit for that. Because COVID's when all the new players decide to jump on the 5e bandwagon and it become their identity. They were like, I play 5e. Well, no one cares.
Yeah, they're hyper focused on it.
Half of them don't even play the damn game. Like the critters, literally half of them do not play D&D. And it's going to be crazy to see coming up. I don't know if you guys follow any of the critter stuff, but apparently in the next big critter campaign, they will not be using D&D.
Oh, God.
They're going to be using the game they designed.
Oh, are you?
From what I understand, probably sucks. But we will finally get to see something I've said multiple times to people. I've said multiple times, 5e is only as popular as it is because of the Critical Role guys, right? So now we're going to see, was I right or wrong? And maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong. But
yeah, I mean, that is true, Shark, but doesn't make it any less
the first
bad
3
now.
books for 5e were okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you were smart about which optional rules you use. Which, when I played the game, I didn't allow any optional rules. So there was no feats or talents or any of that shit. And I also didn't use short and long rests because I thought they were stupid. And I thought that it made the game too easy, like you're going to take a 15-minute break and get all your hit points back?
No.
They're like, no, that's not how that shit works.
You either get magically healed or you sit there and recover.
Or you go back to town and you rest for a week or something, right?
When I say recover, yes, rest in a comfortable, safe environment.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But the thing to remember, too, is that the first 3 books of 5e was Mike Mearls. And Mike Mearls is a old school D&D player who actually plays AD&D is his preference. If you listen to a lot of when he talks about stuff, and apparently he had some stuff to do with a lot of other stuff, right? When they got him to make 5e, he like went around the community and like got a bunch of different people to comment on it to make 5e the way it is. So yeah, the original 3 books are all Mike Mearls, but then they threw him in a closet, and then it become the guy with the Cupid hair and freaking Baldy Locks writing these books, and those two are freaking so ideologically obsessed that they couldn't write a good D&D book to save their life, because every book they write has to preach the message. It's always about the message. Like, I remember when they released the Waterdeep, or not Waterdeep. No, it was Waterdeep. The Waterdeep book, the Tavern of the whatever. Anyway, the Waterdeep book. And it was talking about how there was all this foreign food vendors everywhere, and they were having same-sex pride parades and all this shit.
It's modern day California.
In the middle of Waterdeep. And it's like, okay, so basically Waterdeep has become Seattle.
Yes.
And this is the problem with the 5e guys, especially now. They lack the imagination to picture anything being different than the thing they're looking at in real life. And that's why they always freaking write themselves into everything. Self-insert everything, because they can't imagine anybody being different than they are.
They have zero conception of history, and they don't study history.
Weird. Yeah, they don't like history after or before 1960. That's a thing too. But yeah, it's like they've made Wizards Coast has made their version of the game such a hodge. It's like they took all the good vegetables and stuff you would want, and they just threw it in a pot and then boiled it until everything fell apart, and then they mushed the shit out of it, didn't season it at all, maybe even ran it through a food processor, and then they pour that slop into your bowl and they're like, have some beef stew. It's like, this ain't beef stew. I don't even know what this is, but
it's just mush.
They threw in tofu, fake tofu.
Flavorless mush. Whereas TSR, I mean, you had Greyhawk, Forgotten Realms, Al-Qadim, Maztica, Planescape, Couture. I mean, you had everything, and you could take what you wanted and leave the rest. What's up, Jose? So it was actually really cool, and the settings were really wild. Like, I don't know who created Dark Sun, but damn. That you can't look at Dark Sun and say, "Oh, that reminds me of anywhere on the planet." I mean, Dark Sun is literally its own shit. I mean, you got cannibalistic halflings and half dwarf, half giant, infertile fighters, and tall, skinny ass elves that can run across the desert all day. I mean, it's just, it's nuts, But everything they do now is all just the same thing.
Especially now that
Dump
they
it
want
for
to add
Shadow Dark. Well, don't let Garrett say you dumped it for Shadow
I
Dark.
don't even know if they've even gone through and read every Dragon magazine. You know what I mean? I mean, we used to
now
read that.
aren't isn't like 5th edition also trying to now add like Transformers and everything else into it?
That's Garrett. He's saying since
Oh,
Transformers exist in the Magic the Gathering universe. And
oh,
there are a couple of Magic the Gathering worlds that have been written as books for D&D. Therefore, everything in Magic the Gathering is canon for D&D. Therefore, ergo, whatever. Yeah, Optimus Prime can be hanging out with Rick from The Walking Dead in your D&D campaign.
that's stupid. It doesn't make any
That's
sense.
what he said, though. That's and also Lego.
Yeah, because we need
Also
Lego
Lego.
Batman in there.
So your D&D adventuring group could, in fact, include Lego Batman. And according to Garby, that would be canon for Wizards of the Coast. But like I said, Garby is either insane or putting us
Playing
on.
that character.
Or putting us on. Because, you know, it's like, and he was telling someone else that had switched to Shadow Dark that you gave up treasure for trash. You gave up the new edition of D&D for Shadow Dark. That's like trading treasure for trash. And it's like, what?
Doesn't make sense.
It does, but he says that about all OSR games. They're all
Yeah.
treasure, or they're all trash.
I'm gonna have to head off here now. I'll see ya.
See you, man.
All right, see you, Les.
But that's also what he says. If it's an OSR game, it's trash. And what needs to happen in order to make the world a better place is everyone needs to stop playing whatever OSR game they're playing and go back to playing 5 or 6E. And then that'll make the world like way, way better. And I'm not joking. This is the shit he says. And it's just like, so if I decide to play Traveler 2300, is that trading treasure for trash?
I got a question
I
for
will
you.
try to
James.
answer it.
All right. If and this is so far out on the if scale. if WOTC decided to have a 50th anniversary AD&D rehash, meaning they take all the books, they put them into 3 or 4, and they put it out, would you buy it?
Probably not.
Wonder what the audience is saying out here, what they would do if they would buy it. Anybody want to pipe up? Jose, Cal, Shark?
I mean,
and you guys, Cal?
I wouldn't buy it because I have every AD&D thing.
Same with me. I do
so
too.
It's like, why would I bother? You know, it's like this whole top shelf is nothing but AD&D stuff. So
yeah. Well, I got a bookshelf to my right that's all AD&D, and I got a bookshelf to my left that's AD&D. So
what's up, Satya? The true human won't be revealed until we all play. Yeah. Because Garby thinks that 5e is, and I guess 6e now, is somehow a human, a means in which humans can elevate themselves to the next level of spiritual enlightenment. And I shit you not, he said that. And I've called him out on it and been like, I thought you went to church and stuff. Like, what church are you going to where you can claim that a role-playing game can help you reach enlightenment? And then when you question him and you say, okay, if playing D&D can help you reach enlightenment, why wouldn't you play the original version that was written by the guy that you're claiming to be some kind of prophet? And, you know, he's like, got no answer for that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's a weird guy. He is a strange guy. I mean, I kind of respect him because, you know, he's been married for like ever, and he's raised his kids and took care of his family, and he does what he needs to do. And as a man in America, he is a relatively successful guy. You know, he's hit all the marks. You know what I mean? But when it comes to role playing game stuff, that guy's just out of his damn tree. You know, it's like, how can you even believe the things you're saying? And some of it does verge on the heretical. You know, for those of you who are into that, yes, some things that Garrity says are damn near heretical. It's like, hold on a minute here. You know, Gygax was not a saint or a prophet, you know. The Litany of Garrity. Well, we all love Garrity. All of your game money has gone to Palladium. Lately, all of my RPG money has gone to Free League. Yeah, he's definitely special. But like I said, on the other hand, though, Garrity's been married for like 30 years. He's raised a bunch of adult children now who went to school and are doing very well for themselves. He's handling business. He's paying bills. Which is why what he says about role playing is so weird when you look at his real life, because he's a solid stand-up guy in real life. As far as his real life is concerned, he stands on business. You know, he pays those bills and takes care of those kids and stuff, keeps a marriage together and all that. But then he just starts talking about role-playing games, and it's just like, what in the hell happened there? You know, this guy's crazy as a loon. And that is the mystery of J. Scott Garrity. Yeah, he seems super legit as like just a man, a guy, you know. But his views on D&D are definite. Well, because he's basically canonized Gygax. Except after canonizing Gygax as some kind of prophet, he's rejected everything Gygax wrote and embraced everything Wizards of the Coast wrote. And now he's going to dump 5e and go to 6e and keep being the same way, which would be like me dumping my Bible and going to the Quran, but claiming to still be a Christian. It's like, it's so weird, you know? I've seen his wife and I've seen his daughter. Yep. His daughter has her own channel. She does crafts and stuff. And I've seen his house. Garrity, a long, long time ago, and I deleted the video, was on a live stream with me. And he came in like all full of piss and vinegar, trying to be away. And I didn't let him get under my skin. I just chatted with him. And the next thing you know, he was being super cool. And we were talking about whatever. And then after about 30 minutes, he's like, well, I got to take off. You know, the wife's got dinner going. I was like, cool. You're welcome back whenever, you know, because I wouldn't let him goad me into being mean to him. And I always tell people that I will not be mean to you if you're on my channel. I will not do it. Well, I don't wear a wedding ring, and I've been married for 20 years. And the reason I don't wear a wedding ring is habit. I should, but my old job, you were not allowed to wear jewelry.
Yeah, you know, if you're driving a truck or anything like that, nah, forget that. I took mine off too when I was driving truck. I was like, nope, forget it. I'm not wearing it.
I agree with that, Shark. Gygax was awesome. He was a really nice guy the one time I met him for like 5 minutes. And yeah, he was, I mean, when people talk about the Arneson versus Gygax debate, my thought
Oh
is
God,
always
here we
this.
go again.
Arneson never thought about putting anything in a box and trying to sell it.
Arneson was an idea guy.
Gygax was an entrepreneur. He had many businesses throughout his life. So as soon as he was like, we could sell this. So if Gygax hadn't been involved, D&D probably would not exist, because it would still be a couple dudes up in Minnesota somewhere playing in a basement.
Well, I don't know. Oh, let me think about this here, because I know that whole crowd, as you know,
but none of them have written anything.
It might have got off the ground, but I don't think it would ever have the success as Dungeons and Dragons has right now. I'm just going to say that, because it isn't like I'm harping on Arneson or anything here, but like I said, he was mainly an ideas guy, and he had a circle of friends that are quite diverse, and a couple of them, yes, probably could have taken it off, but I mean, Gygax just had that drive, and he had the connections down there in Lake Geneva that it was, you know what I mean, that got it going. So
yeah, Gygax saw what was going on and recognized that there was an opportunity. And I mean, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, that's 90% of it. 90% of everything is recognizing an opportunity. And yeah, you can definitely say Gygax recognized the opportunity, and he borrowed some money to get the capital going so that they could do a print run. And who knew, especially not him, that it would sell out the way it did. But it did. And then they were like, oh shit. Now, could he have ran his business better? Hell yeah. And he could have bought the Blooms out ASAP and got rid of their asses. But, but that's all hindsight, being 2020. Now, I do know Arneson at one point put out a Blackmore role-playing game book, and I regret the fact that I never got it. But it was a big hardbound book, and it said Blackmore, and it didn't use the D&D rule system. It used like a Dice 6 system or something. And I really wish I had got my hands on that. But that book would be like 30 years old now. And yeah, that'd be very old. But I'll tell you what, I know you've been on Twitter, man, watching all the knuckleheads on Twitter fighting over Bronstein.
Oh, God.
And it's like, why do you guys give a shit? Right? It's like, but they do, man. They get on there. I mean, they've even drug like Harmony Ginger into these arguments and shit.
Yeah, the Broser crowd. I just had a little talk with them again here recently, and I'm just like, okay, guys, you've never played Bronstein. Never, ever, ever. Yet you think that, forget it. I'm not even going to go down that road. just like, it's sort of like intellectual theft, sort of like WOTC does. You know what I mean? With their modules and stuff. So.
And the thing is I get along with Murphidius and all those dudes. But you know what I've never talked to him about? Bronstein won one time. Usually we bullshit around about not game stuff. Mm-hmm. Like the one dude's a retired law enforcement dude, and it's like, so, I'll bullshit around with them about anything. But the sad thing is, or not sad, as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit how Jeff Rowe plays his game. And I don't think it's any better than anyone else. And I would tell him that. Like, Jeffro, do what you want to do. Be the man you want to be, but I don't care. I can't be bothered by this. And yet you see people getting so fired up about it. And it's like, why do you care what Jeffro's doing? It's like, yeah, Bro SR still a thing. Only because there's a few Bro SR guys that like to run their mouth. And there's a few Bro SR haters that can't help but hate on them all the time. But at this point on Twitter, Satya, most people just ignore them. Like, literally, like I've said, I'll talk to Murphidius, I'll talk to Jeffro, I'll talk to anybody. But I have never talked about AD&D one time, none of that shit. It's never even come up. Like the last time I was talking to, I think it was Jeffro, we were talking about like workouts and shit. Because he likes to be fit. And we're just talking about diets and stuff like that. I mean, because like I said, I don't give a shit how anyone plays their D&D. It's not my business. I don't give a shit. And I don't care if anyone has an attitude with how I run D&D. Because it's like Pound saying, you're not at my table, so your opinion does not matter. Right? I'll know I'm running D&D wrong when I can no longer get 8 to 10 players at the drop of a hat. When that happens, I'll know I've screwed up. But right now, I got 8 players. And I could have more. So it's like, and I'm not trying to be bragging. I know it sounds bragging, but Florida is great for this, by the way. I have never, as long as I've lived in Florida, had a hard time finding players. As a matter of fact, there is a extreme shortage of people willing to run games. But I used to, when they had Friday night Adventure League, I could go down to the Cosima Comics in Orlando, step in there, sit down at the table to run a game and have the whole table full every Friday. And they would rotate players around. You know what I mean? So that's the problem in Orlando area, is there's more players than there are DMs for all the players. And then 5e does not lend itself well to 10 to 12 people at a table. Whereas AD&D or basic D&D, 10 to 12 is easy. They can even have some hints.
I get 12 regularly at my table, so I mean, I don't care. If there's 8, I've had up to 18 sitting at the table, so I'm like, I just got to make this twice as hard as it was going to be. So,
yeah, AD&D or basic D&D is like, oh, you want to play with 15 people? Yeah. Knock yourself out, But 5e, if you get more than 8, or actually, once you get past 6, it starts getting like crazy. Am I going to continue gaming in Kentucky? Kinda. My brother will live 45 minutes away. So even if I'm not running a lot of role-playing games anymore, we will be playing the shit out of some of our favorite war games. So Battletech, stuff like that. And if I do find a lot of people who would like to play, I mean, I've got 2 players guaranteed. My brother and my wife. That's a guarantee. So maybe I'll run Blade Runner. I mean, I own the game, and it works best with like a GM and 1 or 2 players. Because, I mean, you're never going to have like 9 Blade Runners hunting down a replicant. That'd be crazy.
Oh, God. Nerdy Ogre, we've heard this Palladium thing so many times out of you.
Yeah, Palladium, I can't say I love or hate Palladium, because my exposure to it has been like, I read the 2nd edition fantasy book and I said, no, I don't like this. Not even like I hate it, just more like OSC does everything better. I'd rather just play OSC. mediocre companies. Yeah, we'll see what's going on. I don't know. And yeah, as far as that. But I mean, yeah, when we moved to Kentucky, I mean, I know that Somerset, which is about a 45-minute drive away from London, there are a couple of game stores and stuff like that there. So I'm sure I could find people. A lot of people in Kentucky would love to play games, but unlike Orlando, where everybody's stacked on top of each other, in Kentucky, I mean, if you want to go somewhere, you're going to drive. You know what I mean? Because it's so rural unless you actually live in a city. And what they call cities up there, we don't even call towns down here. Like Somerset is the biggest city in Pulaski County, and it's got 20,000 people. I live in a suburb, and it has 75,000 people. So, you know, and if you count all of Metro Orange County, which would include Orlando, Kissimmee, etc., it's well over 1 million people. So, yeah. I mean, Phil, the guy who owns Cosima Comics, he owns like 9 of them. From Jacksonville all the way to Tampa, there's Cosima Comics everywhere. So, of course, now it seems like the only thing they ever have stocked is fucking Funko Pops. And I don't, they took over the store. You know, those things where they talk about, it's like I went in one time. And there was like,
I was in there when I was down in Orlando. I was down there. I think you were up in Kentucky at that time. I went over there and I saw that. And it was just like, oh my God. The store's taken over by anything they could possibly cram in there to make money. And those Funko Pops,
apparently they make money.
They had probably 500 of them in there.
Because as the owner told me when I asked him about it, they sell. And at the end of the day, Phil's, who is the owner, his one main concern is to keep the doors open. So if that means when you walk in, 75% of the shelf space is Funko Pops, that's just what it means. Now, I own one Funko Pop, and only because it was a gift from my daughter. And I currently don't even know where it is, but it's the 4th Doctor, the Tom Baker Doctor. You can only tell that because of the scarf. Maybe it's because I'm an old person, a Gen Xer or whatever. I cannot for the life of me see the attraction of Funko Pops. They're like little bobble-headed, dead-eyed things, you know. It's like anti-art, you know. Like if you're going to go to a comic shop and buy a statue, buy like some badass statue of like Conan or superhero or something you like, right? Funko Pops are the opposite of that. They're pure lowest common denominator. And yet, if you go on YouTube and you look it up, there are people that have like every Funko Pop ever made.
Oh God, I can't imagine how full their
this dude did his whole walls in his living room in boxes of Funko Pops just stacked up on each other. The whole wall was nothing but Funko Pops. And it had to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Funko Pops.
I hope he's married because he's not going to get married if he's got that much.
Yes, Jeff. Adults collect those damn things. As a matter of fact, that's who buys Funko Pops. It's not little kids. Little kids don't want a Funko Pop. They'd rather have like Matchbox cars or, you know, action figures or something. It's nerdy adults that buy Funko Pops because buying Funko Pops has become their personality. Kind of like, you know, we were talking about 5e players, let 5e become their personality. And like I said, it's anti-art. It's like pure lowest common denominator. And I have it on good authority because, again, I've been friends with Phil forever, that he sells the shit out of them. And it's always adults. You know, mid-20s, mid-30s, some even older. They just go in there and, because they got to have their Deadpool Funko Pop. They even sell Space Marine Funko Pops, Warhammer 40K Space Marine Funko Pops. And it's like, why don't you just go buy a box of Marines? Put them together and paint them. I mean, what is the point of that? It's like, they even sell unpainted 40K Space Marine Funko Pops so you can paint them yourself in whatever chapter color you like. Oh, yeah, man, that shit is crazy. And apparently there's certain Funko Pops are more rare than other Funko Pops because of production runs and shit like that. So it's almost like that fad back in the old days that all the old ladies were into with the little stuffed dogs. What were they? Pound Pup?
Beanie Babies.
It's like Beanie Babies, but for nerds. That's exactly what Funko Pops are. They're Beanie Babies for nerds. If you're into geek culture, that's what a lot of them do. Arcane was a pretty good TV show, Jose. I did watch it, and I did think it was pretty good. League of Legends is where you go to cuss at and get cussed at by Brazilians. Well, not anymore because they separated the servers, so the Brazilians have to be on their own servers. Because the Brazilians would cheat. Like if you would log into a game of League of Legends, if there was a Brazilian on your team, but you were playing against a team of Brazilians, the Brazilian on your team would just shank everything so that you would lose. You know what I mean? And then they would laugh at you, but instead of saying ha ha ha, they spelled it with a J. So it'd be ja 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 ja. And it was like, oh man. So eventually, yeah, they had to deal with the Brazilians because they were just cheating the system. The Star Wars Princess Leia with the face of Schwarzenegger. Just wait until Funko Pops go out of style like Beanie Babies. And they will eventually. I mean, because everything does. Like, if you want to talk about crazy game news, since I'm more of a miniature gamer, really than anything, I started as a miniature gamer. A lot of game stores have started to refuse to carry Warhammer products.
I just saw something about Warhammer in the news. It was something.
Well, they have
crazy.
Officially ended the female custodies thing. It's not a thing anymore. How they said, oh, there have always been female custodies, even though all of the books say that every custodies was made from the firstborn son of a noble house on Terra. So they tried to rewrite that shit, and now they're backing down on that. But you literally have major game stores in America that are saying they will not carry Games Workshop products anymore. And they don't have to, because they can carry Blood and Plunder or, Saga, Oathmark. I mean, there's so many other games you could be playing that cost half as much and are twice as fun. The only thing Warhammer has going for it is it has really good lore, but let's be honest, they stole that lore from Christianity. I mean, Sanguinius is literally just Saint Michael. The emperor is supposed to represent the Godhead, and of course, a third of the angels in heaven rebelled and they took a third of the people with them, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that story, everyone has heard that story. So, that's all they did, because Games Workshop has never created an original thing in their entire lives. Even the old world, which I love, it's just the Holy Roman Empire with orcs thrown in it. Literally, that's all it is. It's the Holy Roman Empire. And if you look at a map of the old world, it's Europe. With no Africa, because apparently there's no Africa. But yeah, like chaos.
So they're about as creative as WOTC, huh?
Like the chaos people, they come from north of Norska. And it's literally called Norska, and it looks like the Scandinavian peninsula. And the people from there are called Norsken or Norse. Yeah, Mordheim, which was just a city that got hit by a meteorite. Across the mountains, you have the Chaos Dwarves who culturally look just exactly like Acadians, or they've got like the curled beards and they wear the big hats, so they kind of look like Mesopotamians or something. And the Bretonians are just feudal French. And of course, the empire, that's just the Holy Roman Empire. So, yeah, they've never created anything new, ever. Even one of their first games, like Gene Stealer, that's just a copy of Aliens, except they had to change the aliens to not look like xenomorphs. And instead of fighting colonial Marines, they're fighting Imperial Marines. But my wife's here. It's almost been 3 hours. I'm going to get off.
Okay, young man. Well,
I will catch you later, sir.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
And everyone else, thanks for joining. Peace out.